Um, my name is Ryan Tabrah. I am the Media SDK product manager. You can always get a hold of me through my Twitter account, Intel Media SDK. So why are we here today talking about the Media SDK? If you walk out onto the floor, what I love is there are very few booths without something on video, right? It's been that way at CES. Heck, that's the way it is around all of Las Vegas. You know, you can't go and see anything without something kind of moving, right? So video is now everywhere. We have access to video at our hands. We have access to video just about anything. We don't get this video for free though, right? There's a lot of technology involved. It's pretty hard to do really good video. It's pretty hard to transcode the video to different types of screens, different types of devices, and it uses a lot of power. So as we move to new mobile applications, new video applications, so some of the stats we have up here on the slide: 500 years of video watched per day, right? And we expect to see a 400 times increase by 2016. What that means is we're just starting the video revolution, right? And as developers, you have to think about, well, how does this affect me? Even if I'm not a video guy or a person, right? I don't know anything about video. What am I going to do with it, right? So who cares about it? What we have here is that, all applications today to be relevant, if you have an interface to a human being of some kind, you may want to use video to share, to communicate, to capture something, to just do about anything with video. We released our fixed function hardware in our second gen core platform, previously known, codenamed Sandy Bridge. We've continued that iteration, expanding the features, the quality, the performance, and right off the bat, it was a big hit. Partially because we took the time to make the Media SDK. The Media SDK actually was released, I think, about 1.5 years, 2 years before we released our fixed function hardware. So what we did is we wanted to get the tools out there for developers in the marketplace to have applications ready to just run on our hardware when they were released. So the day we released our second gen hardware, Tom's Hardware, we got to say, hey, they're huge fans of QuickSync. It was amazing. It just really surprised the market. And people have started using it in very innovative ways. This is just a very simple example of how you would do video today. Some kind of original capture, video shot. It's really easy to get video these days. You want to share it. You want to put it on a different device. You want to upload it to a server. You want to upload it to YouTube so that other people can view it, right? And doing this just in software is no longer good enough, both the playback and also creating the video. So last Tuesday, we released the Intel Media SDK 2013. This is a new version that has a lot of new features. We have a lot of new exciting things about it we're going to go over. But at its core, we accelerate codecs that everyone uses today: H.264, MPEG-2, Motion JPEG, MVC, and it's a free download. It's free to use. And what's great about it is, this is the first version where we now support not only our Ultrabooks and our core platforms, but also now it'll run on CloverTrail, on the CloverTrail Atom-based tablet. So we'll show you a demo of that. Another feature that I think resonates with the developer community is the fact that we started the Media SDK to future-proof this optimization technique. So when we were getting into the fixed function hardware space, we got developer feedback that, hey, I think it's great you're getting into this. I can't wait to optimize my software for your hardware, but once I do it, I may not want to do it again when you release a new chipset, right? And so software and hardware are on different cadences, right? Intel we release a new platform almost every year. And so what we came back with was like, well, let's extrapolate that, and let's just give you guys an API that you can make calls to, and then we take the pain of discovering what's underneath the hood and go, all right, so if the hardware is there, we'll use the best fixed function portions of that device and accelerate the video. If it doesn't, falls back to CPU-based software, encode or decode, right? And also, if you develop your software in 2011 and you see a new generation of Intel platforms come out, and you don't really need any of the new features, you just still want to stick with like basic H.264 encode, you don't have to go touch your own software. It just picks up the speed improvements, it picks up the efficiency improvements on those systems. So that's what this is to demonstrate, is that by utilizing the immediate SDK to create your application, you're pretty much future-proofing your software, right? And you can develop and innovate on your own schedule and not on a hardware cadence. So I think that's what's really resonated with the community. This past year, it was a banner year for Media SDK. We had over 18,000 downloads, individual downloads of the Media SDK worldwide. And we have hundreds of applications that utilize the Media SDK. And before we jump into some of my favorite applications that use it, these are some of the new features of the Media SDK 2013. Of course, we're releasing it a little ahead of time of our next gen core platform to give developers the opportunity to create their applications now, so that when we release our Haswell or 4th generation core platform, you'll just pick up all the new features. Some of the new features, we now will be supporting headless and multi-GPU configurations. We were hearing back from the community that, hey, not everyone just has one processor in their computer. Maybe they want to use the QuickSync video or the hardware acceleration for one thing and have another graphics card to do something else. So on desktop machines, the driver level will be able to use session 0 and just be able to do the hardware fixed function calls separately. We also are excited to have the first version that has open source integration. What that means is a part of the Media SDK now comes with an open source friendly license, and also we give you the full source code for the dispatcher. So now, out in the open source community, you can integrate the Media SDK to accelerate open source projects, right? Like Handbrake, VLC, FFmpeg, whatnot. We're also introducing the 4K content encoding and decoding acceleration. If you walk around the floor, that's probably the biggest thing. Everyone has a 4K TV. I really want some of those 4K tablets. If you haven't seen those, they're pretty awesome. I may need to get one to try some stuff out or something at work, right? It's pretty cool. And also there was we released a new driver update out that'll be coming out soon publicly that will allow even the Ivy Bridge, the current Ivy Bridge systems, to accelerate and decode the 4K content as well. We've improved accelerating image stabilization. We have a brand new samples browser. We got some feedback from developers like, yeah, I didn't even know you had that sample, and that would have cut my integration time in half. So now when you install the Media SDK, up pops the sample browser, and you can right away just go off and running and maybe do a little bit of compiling, and you can go and see if the sample will work for you. And then also a little bit tighter integration with OpenCL as well. Arnon, who stood up earlier, he and I work closely together because OpenCL is a powerful way to enhance the video pipeline alongside the hardware fixed function calls for the Media SDK. So these are some of the new exciting features we have for Media SDK 2013. And I'm hoping that there's no reason for you guys, if you're interested at all. I mean, it's a quick, free, easy download from our website. So today, this is the part I really enjoy, are just 3 sample companies that have improved their video performance using the Intel Media SDK. ArcSoft has seen over 300% improvement with the hardware acceleration. Sorensen Media this year released Sorensen Squeeze that utilizes the Media SDK, and also Sony has it across their lines of products. So with ArcSoft, This is a pretty busy slide, so in case you actually want to know what's going on underneath the hood, but I do have a demo. We have a Windows 8 notebook here, and for those of you who can't see it or something and want to come see it later, I can, of course, show it to you. And there's also a link to this exact demo online on the product page, so don't feel concerned if you can't see it. The reason I like to use the ArcSoft Media Converter is it has a free trial download. So if you want to go and just test out QuickSync or see how fast Media SDK is, it's pretty incredible compared to without. So I'm going to do this upside down, so don't make fun of me if I'm not able to do this. All right. So what we have here is the Media Converter 8. I'm going to take a video clip, and as it says up on the slide, it's about a 6-minute HD video clip. And I'm gonna just do a quick transcode so I can put it in another device. And they have actually a little drop-down menu here that you can decide to do QuickSync on or off, right? I'm not going to bore you and turn it off because we'll be sitting here for 12 minutes while you see tick, 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 right, as the status bar goes. Also, the processor will go 100%. Your battery life will go down. There's just a bunch of other things that will happen just by using CPU alone, the software side. So I'm going to click Start here. All right. So as it's going along, and again, I'll be happy to show this off to anyone after all our presentations. It'll do the conversion, so it's a 6-minute video in about like 2.5 minutes, right? So this is a full HD video, actually upsampling to be on a Retina display, and it's really impressive speed. What's also great is the CPU right now is barely being taxed. I don't know if you can see there's like a little green bar here, and it says the CPU is now running about like 25%. So you can be doing other things on your computer right now, right? And this is just a simple application to do transcoding, but you can see how the industry saw this and goes, wow, I could do other things with this. Now we could be doing transcode and not affect the CPU performance. What else could I do on the CPU side while the fixed function is happening and encoding the video? So that's pretty much what Sorensen Squeeze saw. Is they're very dedicated to provide the fastest transcode speeds as possible. They're bundled with things like Avid. Really cool folks to work with. They're very passionate about quality and performance with video transcode. And they were excited about the Media SDK because, again, it kind of, they knew they could optimize for Intel hardware and not have to worry about touching again their software every time we released a new platform, right? So I think we actually quoted their director of product development that, we had to write our own code to discover its properties, and then we also had to write code to take advantage of them. But then when we started using the Media SDK, we don't have to do any of that. Our code just works, right? And so they can go and innovate in other areas that they specialize in, right? They can go innovate in video filters. They can go innovate, in other parts of their application. They don't have to worry about optimizing for which platform they're on to get the best, fixed function hardware acceleration. It's a pretty powerful story. And of course, anytime they see a solution that accelerates encoding, I'm interested. So that's why they're very excited about using the Media SDK. Sony Vegas Pro and Movie Studio Platinum was released late 2012. It actually uses both the Intel Media SDK and the OpenCL SDK. I'm only going to be talking about the media pipeline portion, of course. They first released it with Movie Studio. We showed this off at SIGGRAPH. And again, they showed similar speed enhancements as you see in like the ArcSoft application, Sorensen. But Sony is a very high-end video editing application. And what they wanted to use it for was for the folks that are sitting there and they need to publish a daily or a studio daily. I don't know if you guys are in the video workflow world, but pretty much if you're an artist and you're creating some high-end movie or Blu-ray or something, every day, or maybe even like twice a day, you have to go show your boss what you're working on, right? And without hardware acceleration, you'd have to go render what you just produced or what you did to go show your boss what you've been doing. And usually they're delivering it to some small phone because they're an executive out on the golf course. And so, you know, why do they need to go and spend all day long rendering, you know, on the CPU side for a perfect version when it's like, hey, I just need a quick and dirty version of my work, and let's get it out there, right? So it doesn't have to be the top, you know, Blu-ray level quality. And so, you know, Sony now has a feature when you do a kind of a publish in their program, you can choose QuickSync, and then now instead of, if you're creating a Blu-ray movie, I think some of the stats I've seen are pretty phenomenal. If you sit there and render it fully, it can take like 4 hours for a 1 hour clip. If you use QuickSync, it takes 20 minutes, right? So go up, get a cup of coffee, come back, you have your version to go show your boss, and you're done for the day, and you can continue, and you can be more, you can do more artwork while you're doing it too, again, because it's not taxing the rest of your machine, right? So while you're doing the transcode, your machine's not sitting there, you know, kind of almost frozen. You could be sitting there and continue to do, you know, other kind of video stuff. You can do other work. You can apply other filters while it's doing transcoding in the background. So it's very, very powerful. So, you know, that's what we wanted to show off today. I did forget, my apologies. After this finished, what I also wanted to say was ArcSoft was very excited to find out when we released the fact that we now will support the tablets, that their application just runs and is accelerated on our tablets, and they didn't do anything. So an application designed for an Ultrabook, right, in mind, right? These show up right here. Again, upside down. I'm going to have to pick this up. So the same application has QuickSync enabled. Of course, it isn't quite as fast as our Ultrabooks, but that's what you get for having awesome power in your hand, right? They also have, I think, one of the top 5 applications in the Windows store that is also accelerated using our QuickSync hardware functionality. And we also have a sample in our latest Media SDK to help you get started for accelerated Windows Store applications. So I'm going to leave some time to answer any questions, hand out T-shirts, cameras, and reminder, survey software.intel.com/CES 2013. Don't hesitate to reach out to me on Twitter. Intel Media SDK is up there on Twitter, and I appreciate your time. So we already have a question in the back. All right. That's great. Yeah, so this comes up for folks who have not used the Media SDK before. The question in the back was, we accelerate codecs that have licensing considerations on them, right? So H.264, MPEG, to use them, you must have a license. Yes. So it's actually, when you download it, we explain this in our developer's guide, that using the Media SDK does not give you the license to use those. It just gives you the ability to accelerate those codecs. So if you had the Windows Media Center, would you get the licensing? I am not a lawyer, so if you develop software, you need to check with your own lawyer to make sure that you have the right licenses for your software. We have another question.
Yes, it may be a stupid question, but
there are no stupid questions. That's why we're here. That's why we're here to talk about this.
Unless I don't ask it.
Yeah, exactly.
You said you could transcode a video and not affect the CPU performance for the
most
part?
Much. Yeah,
as much?
Yeah, right.
If I really needed to transcode a video right away, is there a way that I could decrease my CPU performance to allow more of that to go towards the video and decrease the time?
That's a great question. So do we give access to control of kind of like taking juice away from the CPU and put more on the kind of the HD graphics side, right? We don't give that granular control. The architects and the engineers behind our core platform, they have amazing technology underneath the hood. I don't understand half of it. It's, you know, I mean, it's amazing that the turbo technology, they turbo different sides of the chip. It can make it more efficient, and they're making it better every day with every generation, every driver push. So unfortunately, no, we don't give that, but I can assure you that depending on the, depending on what state these machines are in, right? If they're in power saving mode or in full mode or desktop mode, whatever, the chip responds to the call as fast as it possibly can. So.
And I have one other question too. I was going to ask Craig, but I didn't want to miss your performance.
Awesome. That was a good choice. Yeah.
Because you assured me it would be better.
That's right. We'd probably have to answer it anyway. So.
But I really enjoyed tablet games, and I was wondering if you were going to take the camera, the gesture control on the camera, and actually integrate it into
That is a great lead into
tablets.
the next session. We're going to be showing off stuff. So yeah, stay here for the perceptual computing SDK. Did you get a camera already?
No.
All right. Look at that. You're himself. I see he has a T-shirt. Unless you want like 2 T-shirts, but yeah, 6 T-shirts. He wants 6 T-shirts if we have left over.
I already got a camera, so this is just
All
a pure
right.
question.
Yeah, and you don't need 2 cameras. That's the special part about it.
Why is there an off setting for the quick sync?
And offsetting. Oh, why
you
is there?
said there was an on and off.
Yeah. So
but why
so,
even
so
have
absolutely.
an off?
Yeah. That's a great question. The Intel, we'd be like, hey, you should always be using the quickest setting, right? You know, for that performance, you have to gain that performance and the hardware functionality. You have you have minimal choices on some of the things the quality settings you have, and I think applications like ArcSoft, Sony, and all of them, they've done the right thing where if you know what you're doing with video, and maybe you want the best render, right? Maybe you don't want the fastest. Maybe you want to wait 4 hours. Gives you the ability to do that, right? So let's be honest, even my wife who sees me do my job, right, and she knows about video probably more than the average user, still watches SD all the time, right, instead of HD. It drives me nuts, right? She can't tell the difference on YouTube if it's 240p, whatever. But then there's the informed consumer, the geeks, all of us walking around here in CES, we know, right? We're drooling, trying to find a reason to go get that 4K TV. That's why, right? So, so you might notice that, oh, it's okay to transfer a movie to QuickSync and watch it on your mobile device, but then if you put it up on your 4K display, you see a couple little, that's kind of annoying during the explosion scene. I'm going to go re-render it without QuickSync enabled and use the best CPU software enabled inside. Yeah, that's a great question.
Does it mean QuickSync cannot do higher, slower but better quality
No.
videos?
So but QuickSync has a certain set level of quality, right? At different types of H.264, MPEG, and I'm just saying it gives you more control if you get out of that, right? So if you know what you want and you just want it as fast as possible and we meet your standards, awesome, right? I personally, when you set the highest quality standards of QuickSync HD, it'd be hard pressed to see anyone here in a blind taste test like to see the difference between software or the QuickSync side, right? But there are other things that you can do in video like 2-pass encoding and that kind of thing that you can even get make the video slightly better, and people do that in software, right? Great question, and I think you already have a T-shirt. Do you want a camera? All right. Yeah. And again, to reiterate, if you didn't hear me the first time, if you get a camera, you need to go download the Perceptual SDK to actually use the camera. Don't just plug it in. Wait, another question.
I have a question, maybe a little bit off topic, but I was wondering if you could give us a little bit of some, improvement or sense using like with AutoCAD or CAD graphics, that kind of technology platform. Oftentimes, if you do 3D modeling, I've noticed from one machine to the other machine, Intel processor, that the rendering is a little slower than AMD. I know there's been some improvement in that area, but I
Mhm.
know with Autodesk also getting into a lot more video applications, 3D video, using like Maya or Softimage or those programs, and I was just kind of wondering if you could give us a little bit of a overview of that. I know it may not have been, it's a little off topic, so.
So I want to make sure I capture the question right. If any of those applications that you just named off are exporting the project to a video,
Yes. The
there's
AVI format
yeah,
usually.
there's no reason they can't use the Media SDK to accelerate
Okay.
those actions, because they're doing the same thing everyone else does.
Sure.
Compression, getting a smaller file so they can go share it and play it on another device, right? Or
Right.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely, that can be done. We don't track what how everyone uses the Media SDK. I love
Sure.
sometimes bringing up my favorite application and seeing it. We don't even force you to put that you use the Media SDK or Intel QuickSync technology underneath the hood. This is truly a developer's tool in the sense that go do whatever you want with it. Go and deliver the best experience for the end users, because in the end, the consumer is going to, the end user, whether you're another, high-end person's using the AutoCAD stuff or whatever, or you're just a regular consumer, they're going to have a better experience, more efficient. The battery's going to last longer. They're going to see, wow, look, my video just, quickly transcoded. I follow on Twitter religiously, I follow the words transcode, and I should probably go and count the number of, but I think it's about 95% of the time is people complaining about transcode speeds, right? Oh, I'm waiting to transcode my movie again, right? And it's just, and then I've seen on the other side, Intel QuickSync just became my friend. I'm now finding applications that are using Intel QuickSync or are enabled with the Media SDK, right? So, if the application you care about doesn't use, I feel like I'm gonna be one of those channel companies for Comcast or something, like, hey, you can go talk to your application, right? Go and ask, hey, why don't you use QuickSync? It's free. Go and enable your application, right? I saw some other hands. No? Well, I'm going to give everyone a 40-second break between the next awesome session. The next session is going to be Barry Solomon. He's going to be showing off Perceptual SDK. What's cool is I've been using some of his stuff and all these touchscreen stuff, and I have this older Ultrabook here, and I almost want to just do this and change my next slide, but I can't do it yet. But Barry's going to show you how. So thank you very much, guys.